Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist and I own 52 units of real estate. So I had a great question in the comments asking, how will build-to-rent communities impact mom and pop and multifamily landlords? Right? So for those of you who are new to real estate, build-to-rent communities is basically owned by institutional buyers. So think of large hedge funds like, for example, BlackRock or Blackstone or one of those companies. They buy huge plots of land, acres of lands, and what they do is they develop a bunch of single family homes typically with the intention of renting out those single family homes. So they're owned and managed by institutional buyers. It's treated like a business, and they have the intent of renting it out and holding onto that asset long term. So there's pros and cons to that, right? So the pros of that is obviously by having institutional buyers, there's more standardization. It's treated like a business, and hopefully things are more standardized. These economies of scale, right? The downside is they can kind of control the market rent in that area because they can charge what they want. Because if they own all 100 units, for example, single family homes in that neighborhood, they can charge the rents whatever they want, right? And they have the leverage because they have brand new homes. They can charge top of market rent. So let's just say an old single family home rents for $2,000, and they build a bunch of brand new single family homes, really nice A class area, everything new, nice amenities, pool, gym, all the above, right? They can charge, let's say, $3,000 in rent, and then everything is rented for $3,000, right? So, um, so how does that impact mom and pop and landlord owners? So, basically, in my mind, the only way it impacts landlord owners that are mom and pop is it's just an A class asset that comes out, right? They're A class, meaning it's a new property and they have nice amenities, right? So, yes, they're going to be top of the market rents and get your top renters, right? But they have to be able to afford that. So as a mom and pop and multifamily landlord, like for me, I own C class apartment complexes, right? And C class means they're older, but I renovate the units so they look nice and decent and modern. But there's no amenities, right? There's no pool, there's no gym, there's no nice laundry room, there's no clubhouse, right? But it's a more affordable option, right? So it's really like I don't think built to rent communities are affecting mom and pop owners because most mom and pop owners or small, landlords, they don't own a brand new asset for the most part, right? Like they don't really own a small, like my apartment. Like they could build an A class apartment complex next to my 26 unit apartment complex. By all means, they can charge like probably $1,500 a month in rent, and but my rent for my apartment, because I'm in a C class that's renovated, it's about $800. So it's like half the cost, right? So like it's choose your option, right? Like, do you want an A class brand new apartment with all the amenities? It's an A class apartment. By all means, if you can afford it, go, right? They're gonna rent it for 1,500. But for those who can't afford it or don't think it's worth it having those amenities, then they want to rent where I'm at because it's $700 a month. It's half the cost. Still a nice unit. It's newly renovated. No amenities, but so what? Maybe they want to go to their own gym, right? Maybe they want to go to 24-hour fitness. Maybe they don't care for the pool. Maybe they just want something more affordable, right? So like I don't see it as competition because it's a different rental class, right? Like I own C class apartments, and they're renovated, so they're nice. They're maybe like B class in terms of look, but C class in terms of age. But I'm not competing against the A class, right? Like my apartment's gonna be cheaper, right? Like my apartment's gonna rent for $700 for like a let's call it a B minus class. But if there's an A class next door, they're gonna rent for like 1,500. So I'm not even in the same competition, right? Like, it's a different tenant base. I own a brand new home in Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, and if they build a built-to-rent community and they charge a bunch in rent, well, that's gonna help me because I have a new house as well. I own a new single-family home that's A class, so they build more A class um, area to help increase my rent. Now, the downside is maybe I have more competition, right? Maybe I cannot rent out my A class, and maybe I have to lower my price, or it might take me a little bit longer to rent out the unit, right? But if you take care of your tenant well, and they like the area, and they like the neighborhood, they won't leave, right? So like, there's always risk, right, of everything, but like, there's always pros and cons to everything, right? Like, there's good and bad of built to rent communities. Like, in some ways, it can help you, some ways it can hurt you, right? But overall, if you play the fundamentals of real estate correctly, right, you buy real estate right, they cash flow or break even, or you have extra streams of income to help cover that. You take care of your property, you take care of your tenant, and you buy it in good areas, for the most part, if you hold long term, you can't lose, even if there is built to rent communities, right? Like with built to rent communities, if they're selling at a higher price or they're worth more, then it's helping you, right? It's helping increase the appreciation of your asset. So for me personally, like once again, I don't really think too much about that. Like I'm just trying to buy like I'm not trying to own like 1,000 units or maybe one day, I don't know. Like for me, I'm just wanting to own enough units to be financially free to basically retire, and you don't need that much to do that, right? Like honestly, I have 52 units, which is way more than enough. I just need to focus on paying off some of these assets, right? Like paying off my primary residence. I could pay off my 2 apartment complexes. I can pay off my Alabama single family home and buy another Alabama single family home cash, and that's enough rental income where like, I probably don't need to work, right? So like you don't need a lot of real estate, like so you shouldn't feel threatened by these build to rent communities. In fact, I love these developers because in Huntsville, Alabama, for example, they develop like say 200 homes, and what they do is they sell the homes to homeowners, who people who are going to primary residence owners, so they're going to live in that property, right? So it's helping them own a nice home. But sometimes the city may allow them to say, okay, you build 200 homes, 80% has to be to people who are going to live in that property as a primary residence. And the remaining 20% you could open up to investors who are out of state or in state, right? So, like, if there's 200 homes, then maybe 40 are available to rent out or to own as an investor, right? But, like, it's a nice neighborhood. So, that's how I do buy in Huntsville, Alabama, right? Like I just buy new homes. Like I rent it out for like 2K. I buy them for like under 300K. I rent it out for 2K, and they break even or make some cash flow, right? So like, but it'll appreciate over time, and they're A-class assets in great areas that are going to appreciate over time. Um, Great school districts, great tenants. Like can't complain, right? Like over time, it's going to appreciate. Over time, rents go up. So really, I don't think too much about how that really impacts, but you just want to buy in great areas. And to me, if they're obviously, if institutional buyers are buying in a certain area and they're putting up a bunch of real estate, then obviously there's good fundamentals in that market. It's probably, good school districts, good jobs, good rental demand, good housing demand. All that's population growth. That's all good signs of a good market. So like to me, if there's built to rent communities, probably a good sign to buy there, right? Like something's going right, right? If there's no built to rent communities, that's a little scary because maybe there's population decline, maybe there's jobs leaving, that area. So, hopefully you found value from this video. Let me know if you have any questions below. If you're interested in buying multifamily real estate with some guidance, check out my mentorship program. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe if you found value from this video, and please share this with somebody who can find value from this. Well, thank you so much, and hope to see you in the next one.